Okay, Converse. Und sie müsste ja wahrscheinlich auch etwas wissen dann über den Professor. Oder beziehungsweise über Genshin Asogi und seine Flucht. Weil Dr. Zeiss wusste ja was darüber, scheinbar. Weil damit wurde sie ja letztendlich erpresst von Webber und von Assman. Time of Death. Aber erstmal reden wir über unseren Fall hier. We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember. You're not dead yet. What? So Mama said I wasn't to cut you open. She's so strict about things like that. Well, good. Dr. Zeiss has some scruples at least. Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us. For the time being, anyway. For the time being? You mean until we die? I hope that's a way off. Sorry, but I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. Okay, haben wir irgendwas? Hier vielleicht? Dr. Garway, we actually came here to ask you about this. He was very good. Good, sorry. His skin didn't snag my blade once, and very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with. Oh god, we can skip those details. But there's one thing about the report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death. Oh, that's not my fault. Oh, that made me jump. Then please, tell us what happened. Time of death. So, why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death then? It's really the most crucial detail. I was told not to write it. What? By whom? Mayor Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here. Lord Strongheart came. He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 PM on 1st November when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it? He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot. It was obvious. Okay. Lord Strongheart hat ja also gesagt, dass sie das nicht schreiben soll. Was there some reason you didn't include it? Dr. Garway, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later you're going to go to the same way as your mother. Give it here then. What's she scribbling so furiously? There. You've written. What? What's she written? Tell us. Indeterminate. Unbestimmt. But the details of the autopsy report have been updated in the court record. The autopsy report from the examination of Inspector Gregson's body. According to the coroner, Dr. Gowrie, an accurate estimation of the time of death is not possible. Indeterminate. What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate? When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh. So the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard. But there was one small discrepancy. What discrepancy? There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat. And that fish had started to rot. What? If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off. Well, Yes, what are you really trying to say? Was some fight in the pocket. Okay. The time of death will easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard. Okay. It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death. Manipulate the... Is that even possible to do? Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. Putrefaction. Verwesung? Putrefaction. Oder Putrefaction, Entschuldigung. Verwesung heißt das ja. You were to chill the body in ice, okay. And if the overcoat wasn't in the body at the time, on the body, then only the fish would have started to rot. With today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not. But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems. But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not, but maybe in a factory, or some other special place. I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on Fresno Street though. I wonder if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow. What might the actual time of death have been? I couldn't say for sure. Okay, also die Möglichkeit besteht, dass er gekühlt wurde. But at the most, it might have been a day earlier. No! In other words, it would corroborate with your previous deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. That Inspector Gregson was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility? He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity. Oh yes, one other thing. It's something the governor of Barclay Prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. Scythe, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution. The professor. Apparently, you always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so... of the size... In the vicinity, okay, das hat Lord Strongheart gesagt. Okay, the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Okay. Also der Fisch hat schon angefangen zu verwesen. Okay. Aber der Körper noch nicht. Das ist natürlich kinda sus. You always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so we were wondering if you might know something about what happened 10 years ago. That's not all Mama did. Zoe? My mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zieks as well. What? Really? The brother of Lord Van Zieks, the professor's final victim. The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then. But the detective in charge of the investigation insisted that it was miraculously authorized. Ach ja, stimmt! Das wurde ja gesagt, oder? Das wurde ja schon gesagt. The detective being Inspector Gregson, of course. Quite an accomplishment for one man. That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to arrest the killer. Genau, das wurde doch schon erzählt irgendwann. And Mama was there for that historic event. What does all this mean? You know, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The professor and Clint Van Zieks. They both spent the final moments before their burial on that dissection table here. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events. She really is proud of her mother. I wonder if you'd tell us more about exactly what happened back then, Dr. Goway. Okay. Confirmation of death. The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclay prison's execution chamber and sign the certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama is the best coroner in the world, you know? I was so proud of her. But the execution didn't actually take place. No, and worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know. Oh dear, you found out recently, you mean? I believed in her, in Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her. You mean, because you omitted the time of death on this autopsy report. But that's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it. Just like Mama, I'm sure she was cursed by somebody too. Yes, that's my feeling as well. And what more it had with the jailbreak didn't actually take place. Okay. There's no doubt that there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well. The big man with the little handcuffs, according to what he told us. He was tricked by the chief warder. He says he knew nothing about it. Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing. Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? Clint's autopsy. You mentioned the autopsy of Clint van Zieks. It was at the time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. It's still not a practice that's observed in our country, even now. It turned out that he was a professor's final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as a secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. Nine. Final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as a secondary assistant. Also John H. Wilson hat Clint van Zieks aufgeschnitten. Bei der Autopsie natürlich, aber er hat die Autopsie durchgeführt. Okay. That's right, my daddy. And there was one other person present, the primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East. Wait, a visiting student? It must have been my father, Eugene Mikotoba. I had no idea Professor Mikotoba had been involved with something so important. But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor. So that's how they came to identify Genshin Azogi as the infamous mass murderer. Aber was war dieses Beweisstück? Do you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us any more? Would you like to see the record for yourselves? Well, would that be alright? What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them? They are filed under V at the back of those cupboards, with the other records from the last decade. Thank you! Let's see. Van Zieks. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruhodo? They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zieks. There must be! Perhaps somebody took them away. No one's allowed to take documents related to the professor case out of this room. But you're right, they are gone. Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? It was... Oh yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago. A consulting detective came one day, saying that he'd like to see the records. No, you don't mean... Herlock Sholmes was his name. Deep down, I knew that was coming. Do you think he stole the records? Oh no, surely not. Iris, that can't be right, can it? Iris? Who know? I hope you don't mind, but... What is it, Iris? I've just remembered something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave, you know. Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Well, we'll come with you then. Oh no, there's no need. You and Bruno can take your time here. Bye for now then. Good luck! Wait a minute, little girl. Me? I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you? Have you, Iris? Yes, 2 years ago, when the detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then too. That's the way it usually works, yes. Was I? I really don't remember. Aber warum haben sie die Akte von Clint geholt? Was hat Herlock da im Schilde? Herlock weiß doch auch definitiv mehr, als er zugibt. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash. Wait, Iris. I'll brew up a pot for you when you get home. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden. Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either. It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This was really fun. But next time you come, I'd prefer it if you were ready for the section. I can't make any promises, sorry. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint van Ziek's autopsy have disappeared. But I think we've asked all we came to ask now. Okay. Ich würde sagen, wir gehen dann mal zu Sholmes, oder nicht? Oder auch nicht? Zu Mikotoba dann vielleicht? Auch nicht. Fresno Street Room, Prosecutor's Office. Wo müssen wir hin? Prison Governor's Office. Auch nicht. Prison? Keiner da. Fresno Street Room. 2nd November, Room on Fresno Street. Da ist ein Koffer plötzlich. The police are still busily investigating in here then. But Gina's nowhere to be seen. Where is she? Yes, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, practicing what her boss taught her. Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait? Actually, there's something different about this room since the last time we were here, isn't there? We could always use the time to investigate more thoroughly. Der Koffer, der ist ein bisschen verdächtig hier. This little trunk wasn't here before, was it? Oh, it appears to be made of metal. It must be very heavy. I wonder to whom it belongs. Meint ihr nicht, dass Inspector Gregson mit einem Koffer reingegangen ist? There are some initials on the outside. Look, TG. Let's ask one of the policemen if they know how it came to be here. Oi, what do you think you're doing? Gina? Gina, natürlich. That's my trunk, that is. Hands off! Gina! Where have you been hiding? Where are you hiding? I don't know, you leave something unattended for a few seconds and every Tom, Dick and Harry's got his greeting eyes on it. Tom, das wäre ich, wer Dick und Harry sind, weiß ich nicht, aber I am here und ich habe meine Augen da drauf, genau. Just a wild guess, Gina, but what? Spit it out, Otto. Is it fair to say that you've only owned that trunk since this morning's trial? What? What are you trying to say? Come on, this trunk goes with me everywhere. Always has. Where have you been the last year? Trying not to incur your worth, mainly. Okay. Ist der plötzlich weg, der Trunk? Wahrscheinlich hat sie ihn aufgenommen, oder? Converse. Your boss. You should hear them talking the yard now. They should be ashamed of themselves. They are saying that it was the boss who killed all them bludgers. Ah, you mean the whole Reaper thing? Yeah. Apparently the boss was investigating stuff that no one else at the yard knew nothing about. Stuff to do with all them criminals what got off scot-free. Yes, the ones prosecuted by Lord Van Zieks who used bribery and corruption to evade conviction. Well then, obviously, it was that Bloomin' Reaper given these orders, weren't it? But why would people be suspecting Inspector Gregson of being involved in the killings? There was a notebook hidden in his office. Oh no, this doesn't sound good. It had details about all the crimes that have been pegged as the Reaper's work. What? No. Did you see it, Gina? Did you see that notebook? Warte, was? In his office. Was the Bloomin' Reaper given the orders, weren't it? Also, ja, bla bla. The crimes that have been pegged as the Reaper's work. Okay. They wouldn't flame and let me, cause I'm just an apprentice apparently. But it was me who found it, and he was my boss. That's right. I was pretty miffed about it, so I sneaked a peek at what it said in anyway. Oh, that's our Gina. The secret notebook. So, you managed to see what was written in Gregson's secret notebook anyway, did you? Why, I see it. It's my right to read what he wrote. And what had he written, Gina? Dates, times, places, names, and a whole long list of them. All details about the bloodshed supposed to have been done in by the Reaper. But there could be an explanation for that. Perhaps it was a record of the Inspector's investigations into the Reaper's activities. Exactly, that's what I said. That's the first thing you'd think, right? As it happens, it was full of names I recognized anyway. Could be an ideas about bloodshed supposed to have been done by the Reaper. Inspector's investigations, okay. As it happens, it was full of names that I recognized anyway. Whereas the Reaper's targets were almost exclusively known leaders of London's criminal underworld. Well, yeah, but there was one name right at the end that was a bit odd. At the end of the list, you mean? I'm pretty sure the date against it was 31st October. Oh, the day before the Inspector was found dead. So, what was the odd name? It ran like a name I've ever seen before. It was something like, nah, it's no good. I can't remember it. I don't think it was an English name, put it that way. Oh dear, what a pity. There was something else too. I don't know if it matters, but the same name kept coming up over and over. Shin, it was. Don't suppose it means anything, but... Shin. Did you say Shin? Eh? What? It does mean something. Lord Van Zieks knew the name too. He mentioned her as well. The woman who actually did the deeds. And now we find out her name appeared in Gregson's secret notebook. Your investigations. We haven't seen you for a little while, have we, Gina? Well, of course not. I've been busy, ain't I? Investigating in that. The lads at the yard are trying to trace the boss movement the day before it happened. The day before. That would be the undercover investigation to the red-haired league then. Only the boss didn't go, did he? You found some cove what was pretending to be him, didn't ya, Otto? Yes, it was Mr. Vigil who actually went to the park on Limefield that day, posing as Gregson. Well anyway, you ain't the only one turning stuff up. I've got my own ways of getting results. When me and me partner here got together, there's nothing we can't track down. Oh, little Toby! He's such a faithful friend! Okay, es ist mein Headcanon, dass Tobias Gregson in Toby weiterlebt. Dass Tobias Gregson einfach reincarnated ist. Auch wenn es Toby schon gab, als Tobias Gregson noch lebte. Aber ich glaube einfach, das ist Gregson, der wiedergeboren wurde. Das ist mein Glauben einfach. So have you tracked anything down then? What do you think, eh? Of course we have. Can't tell you though. Police business, innit? Anyway, the point is, if we don't ever need any help, you know who to turn to, right? Me and the Hellhound here. Right, because he looks oh so hellish, honest. The Hellhound, nicht Hound, the Hellhound. Gina, about your Hellhound there. Chief Inspector Toby, you mean? He's the pride of the force, he is. In Japanese, police don't mean something quite different and not altogether nice to those involved in crime. Okay. But here in Britain, it's a wonderful compliment it seems. For a cannon at least. Cannon? Canine. Oh, Hund. Wow. Es heißt Hund einfach, lol. It should be. After all, in the great exhibition case the other day, it was Toby here who managed to locate Dweber's workshop. Maybe it's time for another demonstration of what the superdog can do, eh? Do we have something the Chief Inspector could catch the scent of, I wonder? I don't know. Die Perücke, maybe?
Take that!
Well, Chief Inspector Toby, if you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. Heh, he might be a little too keen, don't you think? Oh god. The Chief Inspector made short work of Gina there. Ah! Look what he's gone to! Oh my, that trunk clearly still has a very strong scent. Of Inspector Gregson. In other words, it must have belonged to him. Oh, alright, it's a fair cop, I suppose. And you nearly got away with it too. You always talk so proudly of Chief Inspector Toby's nose and what it can achieve. Did it not cross your mind that he might identify something that was right next to us? Yeah, that was a bit of a bloomer, weren't it? That's enough now then, Gina. Eh? I think it's time you told us the truth. About that trunk. Okay, the metal trunk. The coffer. It weren't like that. It just weren't. What are you talking about? I know what's going on through that head of yours, but that ain't what happened. Alright then, what did happen? Well, like I said before, we were trying to trace the boss' movements. So I let Toby here have a whiff of the boss' overcoat. And as soon as I done that, He went off like a shot. Straight to that sandwich. To a sandwich, not to a bag of chips. Mr. Naruhodo, I believe Gina means the witness. Bitte was? Okay, ach so. Oh, I forgot about that sandwich. Yeah, he had in between them wooden boards of his. The boss trunk. You mean when they heard the sound like a gunshot and all piled in here? Exactly. He nabbed it from the scene. Goodness. Me and the chief inspector gave that sandwich a good grilling. And you know what he said? I thought it might fetch a good price and the chap wouldn't be needing it anymore, so... But that's all I did. Nothing more. Nothing that... Would you Adam and Eve the cheek of it, eh? Stealing the dead boss stuff to flog. So Miss Venus wasn't the only one to meddle with the scene of the crime then. Okay, also hat der... den Koffer gestohlen. How could they? Chief Inspector gave that sandwich good grilling and you know what he said? I thought it might fetch a good price and the chap wouldn't be needing it anymore, so... Okay. So anyway, that's how it happened. And it's a pretty decent trunk, so I figured I might as well make use of it. Is there something wrong with it, eh? Well? Maybe you and Mr. Sandwich should try to find the answer to that question together. I think perhaps that trunk should be turned over to the police, don't you? It's a pretty decent trunk, so I figured I might as well make use of it. Trunk should be turned over to the police, don't you? What are you on about? I am the police! Gina, if you wouldn't mind, could we maybe examine it? Yeah, alright then. Do what you want with it. Thank you. We shall make a detailed record of our examination of the evidence. Gregson's trunk has been entered into the court record. Inspector Gregson's metal traveling trunk that was removed from the scene, but subsequently recovered by Gina. Okay. Oh? What's the matter with Toby? Why he's acting so aggressively towards me all of a sudden? Mr. Naruhodo, be careful! It must be the trunk! Oh god! Toby, oi! What are you doing? You're gonna lick his face off! Mr. Naruhodo! Mr. Naruhodo! Gina, quickly! Hail a carriage! Bitte was?